Oh yeah.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. So we did it. It is Sukkot. Our Sukkah is up, and we are here to celebrate. One of the next of the major high holidays, the festival of Sukkot. It's very strange because it has very different names in the English Bible. The Feast of the Tabernacles and Festival of Booths and all these kinds of really confusing. Not really sure what you're doing. What we're doing is that we are reliving the experience of our ancestors who were migrants, who wandered in the desert, after they left Egypt and on their way to freedom. And just as they dwelt in temporary huts, so too we go through this experience. But at the same time, historically, we understand that this festival is related to the fall harvest season, and so it's tied into this. We have an experience just like this in Passover in the spring. This is kind of like the equivalent. It is this week-long celebration that we have. It's just a little bit different because we have this temporary dwelling in which we are inviting guests, we're inviting our friends, and so I'm very glad to be joined by my friends who join me tonight and help me put up the Sukkah. Thank you. That we've been able to accomplish this as a community. And tonight, the first night of Sukkot, falls in line with Shabbat, and so we have a 2-for-1. But we not just welcome guests in on this holiday, the physical guests. We're also we're also welcoming in some mystical guests. The Ushpizin. We're welcoming in our ancestors across the generations who are coming, and they are dwelling with us on their way to freedom. We are all throughout the generations, so this space becomes this mystical space, in a timeless space, in which we are welcoming our ancestors across the generations to come and dwell and feast with us. And so this is a mystical, magical experience. The first night of this holiday this year is Shabbat, and we do have our Lulav and Etrog here. We don't shake it on the first night of Sukkot when it is Shabbat. If people want to, they can. If that's your style of perversion, there's worse things. Go ahead and shake it. Shake your lulav. And we have our Lulav and Etrog. It was a miracle. We went to Pico Robertson, and they didn't have any. Normally we get them in front of the kosher market, and these are the native species of the Holy Land, and we normally get them in front of the market, the kosher markets. I go to the Persian markets, and normally I get them from the yeshiva boys who are hawking them in front. But when I arrived, they had just ran out. And just like as I had gotten out of the car, it had just ran out. And I went looking for one, and I finally called around, and I was able to find one in Fairfax. When I got to Fairfax, it looked like there was nothing there. They're just kind of, it's at the table if you find anything. I found the last set for a Lulav and Etrog. Not just a Etrog, but it does have bidom. It does have the pestle at the end, which is, but these are, the palm and the willow and the myrtle and the citron, the medicinal citron, and these, during this time of the harvest, we bless, we bless nature, and. This is where my indigenous roots, really kind of collide with my Jewish roots, because you end up shaking this thing in 6 directions, all these directions, 4 directions, up, down, and in, into your soul. And so what happens is that that's when it's totally like I totally see my indigenous roots. You feel like the wild India, like wild Indian doing in the backyard? Stuff. Is he drunk again? And yes, we will be drunk shortly. We're going to be making kiddush. But we were able to, to get this. But I'm, it's our second year with the community Sukkah. And really, this is probably, these 2 years are probably like the first time in half a century that people have had a Sukkah in a neighborhood, which is amazing because this was the largest Jewish community west of the Mississippi. 75,000 Jewish people came to this neighborhood. This was a completely Orthodox community. Today there's so few of us Jewish people, but there hasn't been a Sukkah, for the almost half century. And then we acquired this one. Luckily, we got one that we can put up another year. You guys helped me put it up and everything, and this is a miracle.
It is.
It's a miracle.
Yeah.
It is a miracle, and we really need this. Not only because right now outdoor programming, that's what they're asking us to do. For health reasons during COVID-19, take it outside, and so this is one of these opportunities for us to do that for a community that we haven't seen each other in 6 months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so we're getting to see, each other again. We're getting, to do some outside programming. But on top of it all, the message of this, it's just beautiful that when we say it every Shabbat, as we get to, that Hashem should spread over us, a Sukkot Shlomecha, shelter of peace over us. And so much more it means something to us as we are in this dangerous time. But miracles are happening. Miracles are happening. And so we are going to say the Kiddush, and then we are going to say the blessing for dwelling in the Sukkah. And so we are going to, and let's see if I got the melodies. We only do these once a year. We only do this once a year. So I'm often afraid that I'm going to get it, but it is a Shabbat with the holiday, with Yom Tov. So we do have to begin with saying, "Hey, see you later." So we do want to go ahead and begin with the parts that are relevant for Shabbat. ויהי בוקר יום השישי ויעברו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם ואחד אלוהים ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה וישבות היום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה יברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. It was evening and it was a morning, 6th day. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all their array. And on the 7th day God completed his work which he had done. And he abstained on the 7th day from all his work which he had done. God blessed the 7th day and hallowed it, because on it he abstained from all his work which God created to make. Sevri Rabbanan Vavotenu Verabotai. By your permission, my masters, rabbis, teachers, my friends, fellows, let us bless. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam bodrei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol am ורוממנו מכל לשון וקידשנו במיתותיו ותיתן לנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה ושבת מנוע כמועדים לשמחה חגים ומנוע לששון את יום השבת הזה את יום חג הסוכות הזה זמן שמחתנו באהבה מקרא קודש זכר לתזיית מצרים כי באנו בהרת ויתנו קדושת מכל העמים בשבת מועדי קדושך באהבה וברצון בשמחה ובששון הנלחתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת בישראל והזמנים. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, King of the universe, who has chosen us from every people, exalted us amongst every tongue, and sanctified us with his commandments. And you have given us, Adonai our God, with love, Shabbat for rest, and appointed festivals for gladness, festivals and times for joy. This day of Shabbat and Sukkot, this time for our season of gladness, with love, a holy convocation, a memorial of the Exodus from Egypt. For you have chosen us, you have sanctified us amongst all people, and the Shabbat, your holy festival, in love and favor and gladness, in joy, you have granted us a heritage. Blessed are you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat and Israel with the seasons. And so, because it is also the first day of Sukkot, there are also two things that we need to do at this time. So we also say, as we go ahead and we take our seat to drink, we also say the blessing for dwelling and the Sukkah, followed by the blessing for the season. So, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu leishev b'sukkah. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, King of the universe, who has sanctified us with commandments and has commanded us to dwell in the Sukkah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechiyanu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, King of the universe, who has kept us alive, sustained us, and brought us to this season.
Amen.
Wow, those words.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right?
It's like I've never heard them before.
I know, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's
Oh,
oh man.
Yeah.
Man, with everything we've been through in the past 6 months, man,
Yeah.
these words mean so much more right now.
Yeah, no kidding.
Woo, 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 woo.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
And so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to, we're going to, ritually, wash. And here's the thing: is we've already washed our hands. We put together a sukkah and everything, and we've been sanitizing and everything. And
Yeah.
so, we're not doing this in order to sanitize our hands. We're doing this for ritual purposes. Why? When we say this blessing, notice it's very similar to a blessing that we are going to be saying starting tomorrow when we shake the. It's the only other time we say it is when we can shake the lulav.
Yeah.
Is that notice we don't say when we wash our hands, we don't bless and say because because Hashem has commanded us to rahatz, to wash. That's not. No, it's what is the blessing? It is netilat yadayim, that we elevate our hands. We elevate our hands, that we are basically sanctifying our hands to elevate them to a spiritual plane or a higher purpose, that with these hands we're going to do great things. So with that in mind, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim. What's kind of interesting though is this is really kind of beautiful because in Europe during during the Black Plague, what happens is that it was kind of mysterious because a lot of people noticed that the plague was going slower through Jewish communities than it was in other communities. Now, of course, people didn't understand why, and so they accused Jews of witchcraft, and Well, what we ended up learning was that the reason why the Jews weren't getting it as much was because of the ritual washing hands. It was enough to save. Think about doctors were literally cleansing their hands from one person into another, going home and eating, feeding their families and their patients. Bloody hands instead of taking from dead people to another. And can you imagine that just very simple, something like this, how it changed? But it's an amazing thing. Okay. Now we are in this season. Oh my goodness! I need to get the honey. We need to get the honey. Do you know where the honey's at? I think it's on the
table?
The counter right next to the sink. Right next to the sink. Okay. It should have a little bottle with the honeycomb in it. Okay. So we'll get the honey. We don't use salt for dipping at this time of year. Normally we do the salt, and a lot of people come up with reasons why. By the salt of the ground we lay before our bread, the Bible says. All these mysterious things, but it really was just an old kind of custom as well for people. To offer them a little bit of salt, and it's an old kind of tradition. You offer them bread and salt. But during the holiday, we do something different. We have a round challah because we are just coming into the Jewish New Year, and we're talking about the cycle, the cyclical cycle of the year. So we have this wonderful, beautiful round challah, and and what we do is instead of dipping with salt, we dip with honey. So let me go ahead and because I'm an animal, I'm going to be ripping.
Thankfully.
That means to learn to do things. What we're learning. And so that's what the good thing is. And we say the blessing over this first because this is a staple which stands in to represent our entire meal, by which everything is covered under the staple of it. So as we break bread with each other, as a community, let us say our blessing together in unison for the bread. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. May Lashana Tova Umetuka. May you have a good and sweet.
Lashana Tova Umetuka. Thank you.
Now I can dish my mouth to stuff my
Try not to laugh. Amazing.
Amazing. I'm done. So, now it's the festival of Sukkot. So if you're asking next 8 days. So we're gonna be here doing this. Next weekend, I think on Friday, let's have a Shabbat event. We'll welcome people here. But we opened up the Sukkah a little bit different. We had an opening on this side last year, and we opened it up a little bit more in order to allow more ventilation, but also so that people can distance themselves. But we want to allow people to be able to come in and shake the Lulav and the Etrog, and to be able to have a little bit of nosh. And if people want to come during the week and have their lunch or their dinner, they want to bring it, come by all means, you know. And I think maybe in the middle of the week I'll even like order some pizza and stuff, and you know, we'll come in so I don't have to cook one day of the week, and you know, we'll do some stuff. But it's so beautiful that we, you know, as a community, you know, we're able to come together again, and you know, that we're in doing this. It touches me so much because we're symbolically rebuilding our community. You know, yesterday on the calendar marks the anniversary of the earthquake that damaged the Bree Street Shul back in 1987. About a third of a century, the largest Jewish community that ever existed west of the Mississippi didn't really just have these types of things everyone wanted to, just really people didn't know how to make it possible. Especially when you have very young people that are kind of hard off for money and stuff like that, and older people, you know what I mean? That's what happens in poor communities. You have the very young and the very old in ghetto communities, and older Jewish communities where people get left behind. So it's really, really hard for people. And so we, you know, made ours last year, and we were so surprised that it was just overflowing with people coming, you know, from all over. Of course, I didn't advertise about this. We're going to keep it small, you know, for basically the people who are friends who know us. We'll actually be advertising, but we're welcoming all of our friends, and so. But we're gonna now that we've made all of this, I get to feed you guys some food. No, we have some wonderful food lined up. We have some Middle Eastern, you know, chicken, you know, with vegetables, some honey glazed carrots. We have some pomegranate molasses glazed eggplants. We have hummus, tahina, matbucha, Turkish salad. We have let's see, rugla, baklava. Oh, we have our famous fried gefilte fish, and I even have right here some horseradish for you. I don't want to deprive Ashkenazim of the things that they love, and but I had to do my whole spin on something. Basically, they're fish latkes, and but my famous fried gefilte fish, and we also have some matzo ball soup. So I'll be bringing out some matzo ball soup. But I want to wish a Hag Sameach to everyone, and again, thank you to my guests for helping make this possible.
Thank you, Shmuel.
Well, thank you for joining me.
Yes.
Welcome to the BOYLE Heights History Studio, the Museum and Cultural Center, where we don't just talk about Jewish history, where we're making the Jewish now, where we're keeping the continuity of our Jewish culture alive, and we're doing something even better. It's the words of it come even more alive to me at this time of year, because how grand it comes up in some of the liturgy is that we have these prayers that we say, you know, especially at this time of year, they were grandized as we kind of think back to great holidays of times gone by. Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem, renew our days as in days of old. You know, that we should, you know, maybe things have gotten a little bit old and stuff like that, but may we renew our cultural heritage, may we, you know, bring it back to life, and with the vibrancy of it being new again. And so that's what's really good. Thank you for helping me make that possible. And Hag Sameach L'Shana Tova Umetuka. I hope to see you all here on behalf of the BOYLE HEIGHTS CHAVURAH, the grassroots Jewish fellowship of East Los Angeles. We want to wish you a blessed, happy, and a sweet Jewish New Year and Festival of Sukkot. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.